I want to address your question when you said, oh, yeah, a woman was saying that even when you're angry or mad or things like that, like you can still get your manifestation. Like, yes, absolutely. The thing is, though, is that it's that we want to move out of that state as quickly as possible because it can be easy to stay in angry or mad or kind of like the victim mode. But the angry and the mad or the sad or whatever it is giving us information. Every emotion is giving us information. And so when we can understand, okay, this emotion is telling me something, what is it that it's telling me, what's underneath it? So that's why when we talk, we're always dissecting, okay, why is it that you feel this way in a certain scenario? And then we look at what is the belief or what's the story underneath it, and then you're able to choose a new story for yourself, which helps you move out of that state of that anger or sadness or whatever it is. But that doesn't mean, the thing is that you are always worthy of your manifestations. It's just that where your attention goes, your energy flows. And so if you're focusing on the things that are going wrong, well, then you're not really focused on, receiving the manifestation or, acting as if you already have the manifestation, therefore acting as if the person who's worthy of the manifestation and things like that. So emotions are always going to come and go. And we want to move through them as quickly as possible, but there's no actual rush. I mean, sometimes we need to feel something for a day, for a couple of days, but at the same time, we want to be integrating the information that the emotion is telling us. And it's actually better to feel those emotions than to ignore them. We don't want to ignore them and just pretend to be happy all the time. That will actually block your manifestations. You want to be feeling your emotions so that you can integrate what it's trying to tell you. Now, the God in a body thing, well, you kind of said it at the end. Here's the thing. You don't have to believe that like you are God, or you don't have to say that. People say that, but what they're really saying, and I say it sometimes too, but it's like it's really that there's an aspect of us that is from God, that is, and some people just call it consciousness too, or some people call it like the quantum field, but more so consciousness, I would say, is what people are actually kind of saying. Um, and so those people who don't call God typically call it consciousness. And it's because there's a consciousness within us, but that's our spiritual self, but we are also human. Like we also have a physical body. So we are not 100% consciousness or 100% God because we're in a body. That's why I like to say like you're God in a body, because part of us comes from the same energy, the same consciousness as everything. But again, you can interpret this how you would like to. Religion and Christianity want to give God a personified physical form, being. This is what he looks like. If that works for you, great, that works for you. But we can't deny now that science has found out for us that there is consciousness all around us that is influencing us and we are influencing it. And we influence it when we become the frequency, a certain frequency. When we become more higher consciousness, we are more in alignment with all the possibility of what consciousness can create. When we're in a lower state of consciousness, we are more of that human self or more matter, physical things rather than energy. And that's what Joe Dispenza says a lot. He's like, you're either more matter or you're more energy. And the more that we stop identifying as human, as in like literally having an identity of like this is my name, this is where I'm from, this is what happened to me in the past, this is the job that I have, da 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 da, because all of those labels then become limiting. But if we just decide like I am love, then all of a sudden like all possibilities exist. Now, I'm very much simplifying this just for this memo, but in essence, when we, instead of identifying as human characteristics and we identify as energy and the feeling of that, well, then we open up the door to possibilities and we become more energy. Therefore, we connect with this God-like self and this sort of God frequency, you could call it. Now, the other thing that's important, though, regardless of whether you consider God an energy or you consider him a person or whatever, what's super important, as I have come to find on my own journey, is that we need to recognize that we're not creating this life alone, that we do have support. And so putting our faith in, if you want to call it like a Christian God, or putting our faith, I like to put my faith in the fact that, I believe in the quantum field where all possibilities exist and this like energetic consciousness, putting the faith in that. We need to put our faith in something outside of us, because us as humans, we're not doing it alone. And when we recognize that we're not doing it alone and that faith is so important, then we free up the resistance or the limitations that we would put on ourselves. We get rid of the hard work doing action that we think we need to do all these things because we're doing it alone and we are solely responsible for all the outcomes in our life, which is not true. That makes life harder. And so when we switch to putting our faith in something outside of us, something bigger than us, then we free up that resistance. We sort of like, surrender, and we allow for more possibilities to exist. We stop trying to figure everything out, or we stop trying to control everything, and we allow for the possibilities and the miracles to come to us. So that's sort of like the most important thing, which brings me back to the fact that you said, like, we are so powerful. We're extremely powerful human beings. And that is our creational power, is that when we recognize that the power is within us, and also we are co-creating with the power around us as well.